Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you. And on to the action agenda, approval of field trip, Westport grade 2, Mystic Aquarium. This one is because it is out of state. Is there a motion for this?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I've been on that trip, it's a good trip. The next one is a approval of field trip Westport Elementary School Grade 4, RISD Museum and Nature Lab on June 1st, 3rd, and 7th. Again, it's out of state. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of a donation of $150 prom dress for a Westport High School student. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, is there a process for people to donate other dresses to the school? I mean, that would be a...
This is the first. It was, kind of came up as a surprise. A parent found out that at least one student had difficulty, and she decided, could she do it through the school? We said, well, never been done before, but we can bring it to the school committee and find out if they will approve.
I know Jordan's Furniture does it for foster kids. They donate prom dresses, and I just wonder if we had some type of program that maybe even start that kids can recycle prom dresses back. And
Is this going to a particular student?
It will go to a student.
So the student is known, it's donated to go to a particular student. Does she own a dress shop, or is she just,
No, it's a personal.
she's just purchasing a dress and?
Or had it. I'm not sure. I didn't ask.
but it's exquisite.
It is exquisite, from an exquisite prom dress.
Did that need to go through us?
Well, the consideration would be that once it becomes the school committees, this dress would come back. Now, how many times can we hang it in the guidance office and...
Oh, so we shouldn't accept it, then that way the student can keep it. We don't want to be recycling dresses and having a dress shop.
It's a thought. That's why I was bringing it, because if they want to do it through the school, then it becomes a school's dress.
Can we refer it over to like one of
We
the
can use it,
PTOs
we
to
can
do,
use
and they
it
can
in
do it on their own?
some of the
Drama?
drama productions. We'll take anything, but at this point, it was one of those things. A parent wanted to do something nice, but they wanted to go through school.
I wonder if that's not a bad
if the
idea.
PTO
I'm
was
not
to
sure,
handle
and
something
I'm
like
not
this, would
sure
they
if
have to come
she,
to us?
I'm not sure if this parent had a specific student in mind. She just had heard that students had difficulty.
Okay.
So it may not be that they have a specific student in mind. They're donating it to the school, letting, for example, the guidance people figure out if there's somebody out there who needs it.
Jim?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was confused. I thought this was
Yeah,
one
I did.
parent or one family donating to a specific family. They're donating it to
Not
the
that I know
school to make it available this year and in the future to anyone who may or may
They may have a
need them.
student picked out. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, because if it becomes the property of the school, then who decides who gets it? How does that process work? I mean, if every spring there's some number of girls who might need a dress, how do they apply for it? Who decides? Who awards it?
And see, the problem I see is if
We own it.
we own it, number one. Number two, the prom is the 13th.
That's why we didn't have a lot of time
Right.
to do all that, answer all those questions. So I figured we wouldn't have another school committee meeting in enough time to get this done.
Is it possible to direct her to,
Just give it to
Sure,
somebody.
hang on. To maybe the PTOs,
I think it's going to.
It's through.
a student?
Oh,
I believe it's.
so we should
going
accept
to-
it and then worry about policy next year on accepting other dresses and referring off. Yeah, we
Go
just
ahead, Mark.
accept it and give it. Why do we?
Go ahead.
I think it sounds as though this particular effort is outstanding as it is, could take place whether we're involved or not. I'd hate to add any barrier to this exchange, and I would encourage further donations. However, by setting this as a motion, and we get 5 more dresses, now we start balancing our time on routing them appropriately and caring for them and dry cleaning them.
Keep them at
and-
your house?
So, well, I've been told I can't get rid of the 5 in one of our closets. They're not mine, but, so. Good to know. Is there an appropriate PTO or the prom group or directly from the donator to the person, and look forward to hearing on the collective great occasion of the prom. I don't see the,
I don't think I don't think there's a PT or let me go backwards. I don't think there's a prom group that would want to get involved with, dresses and recycling dresses. They have a hard enough time, I believe, in trying to set up the prom.
After prom
Yes.
parties.
Doing the after prom party, the decorations and all that. So I wouldn't, my recommendation would not to put it on them.
Can we suggest maybe to amend the motion that if it is going to a particular student, that the motion be made with it going to that student, instead of just sort of going up in the air?
I would not,
And we lose possession of it? Once it's donated, we just don't want it back?
but you don't want to mention a student, and I don't.
No, I wouldn't want to
No,
mention the
no.
student either.
Please.
No, but we don't know if there's a particular student in mind, or are they just sort of giving the school?
think they-
Karen is saying there is a
I think
particular
there's
student.
A particular student in mind.
that's where we can get involved in.
You don't have to go through this process, it's true. I mean, I think,
I just don't, what are we gonna do with it?
afterwards,
Who made the motion initially?
Jen,
I retract the motion.
I'll try the second.
can you say that?
I would suggest that the generous, wonderful donation just simply be made from the
Yeah.
one party to the other.
I agree. Do you wanna amend it to say that, or just,
Do we need a motion to do that?
do we need
you
to know?
don't,
Just,
you don't need a motion.
No?
okay.
No motion, no
Well-
action.
Thank you very much. Should we even mention this person?
Sure.
To Valerie Arvello, for the generous donation valued at $150 for a prom dress, for apparently a student that's in need.
I think part of their issue was they didn't want to know how it got to them, It's kind of one of those things, trying to keep, we will try to work with her to find a different
Okay.
way to do it so that it's a blind exchange, if you
Okay.
will.
It's also more confidential if we don't get involved.
Yep,
Right.
okay, thank you. Boy, that was more complicated than I expected.
You'd be surprised,
Don't know
sometimes the
anything about
little things
progress.
are the hardest ones.
Approval of a donation of $2,425 from the Westport Education Foundation grant approved by the CFSEMA for the No Strings Marionette Program. This was sort of an oversight, I think, on our,
My fault,
okay?
I'll
Can I-
take it.
Question, you said the Westport Foundation, this is a community foundation, 2 different organizations,
Westport
correct?
Education Foundation.
It was funneled
This is Craig Dutra's
through,
group, not,
yeah, it came from and this is part of what the confusion was. The Westport Education Foundation was able to garner the support from the larger foundation, which is the Community Foundation of Southeastern Massachusetts, to provide this grant. When it was granted and approved and all that, I thought they were going to pay directly from the Community Foundation to the Marionette Group. Instead, there was a check that was sent to us, and I was like, ooh, we didn't, I think you brought it up to my attention that we didn't bring it here for approval.